Week 27.
Yes. What do we got this week? Emotional roller coaster.
Definitely. Laura has stirred up some emotions in people, and especially David. At the top of the week.
We had another short week.
Yes.
We were preempted for Christmas. I believe football aired instead on, I think it was Boxing Day, I think was the Monday, so they skipped a day.
So 4 episodes. And Roger accuses Liz of wanting to keep David, and she accuses of Roger of not wanting to keep him. So there you go.
Yes.
But they do agree that Laura does seem better. So they are going to tell him that she's there. So that at least they agreed on something.
Yes.
And David and Victoria finally have a little heart-to-heart moment, and he realizes that she does like him and that he can kind of rely on her a bit. So he does tell her about being afraid to see his mother because of the dream that he had. And I don't know if he told her what the dream was at that point, but at some point in the week he tells her that it was her burning in flames, and she just tells him that he's just nervous to see her, and that's why he's having these weird dreams.
That's what I do when I get nervous. I
dream about people dying.
About people burning in flames. It happens.
So then they call David down, and they tell him that his mother's there, and he's like, oh, I already know. I saw her at the fireplace, and she was wearing this, and she was doing that. And...
Right, yeah, this is the next morning, right? Yeah.
So Liz finds that odd. But Roger thinks that he probably just overheard. You know how he's always looking at, listening at every door and looking through and whatever he's doing. So he's just like, oh, he probably just overheard us. Although I don't know how overhearing can equate to knowing what color her coat was.
He's peeking through doorways, and he's always, spying on people and hiding in corners and stuff. So I would believe that. I would assume that, actually.
So Burke's around looking for Laura again. He's knocking on her door, but she's not there. And come and knock on our door. So he goes down to the cafe and chats with Maggie, and they joke about the old coffee again. And
yes,
I think it was them. Then Sam comes in. Oh, before that, I think they were at home, and Maggie was all just kind of nagging at Sam again and everything. And then she notices that he has the painting covered, and she wants to look at it, and he gets upset with her and doesn't want her.
He's like, oh!
It's so weird.
I think he was going to tackle her.
Well, because we thought that last week she saw the picture and it was fine and whatever, and she did, because our video said that, yeah, she saw it. So we don't know if it's a new painting, because we couldn't tell if the person in the flames was different this time. If before it was a girl and now it's maybe a little boy, like it was Laura and now it's now it's David, or if they forgot that Maggie already saw it, and so they made it a big deal.
Even the actor forgot.
So we don't really know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so back to when they're having a chat at the cafe, and then Sam comes in, and Burke tells him that it was that Laura's back in town and he needs to start sweating. So
and Maggie's like, "What does that mean?
Yes.
What is he talking about?"
But Sam acts really nonchalant about it. He's like, "Oh, really? Laura's back in town? So he's just trying to play it cool. But then when Maggie questions him after Burke leaves, he gets really upset and he yells at her and takes off. And then Laura comes in and Maggie explains to her why she was being all weird and trying to figure out who she was.
Yeah, now that she knows.
And then Laura said, if you see Burke, tell him that you haven't seen me, which seems very suspicious. But then Burke walks in anyway, so it didn't matter.
2 seconds later.
So
I wanted Maggie to yell out, "No, I haven't seen her. I haven't seen her at all." Go and block the doorway. You're like, what?
She's not here. You didn't see anything?
Nope.
But that didn't happen.
No, unfortunately, that would have been funny.
Burke and Laura catch up a bit and talk about David and talk about whatever. And then he kind of gets down to business and tells her that he wants her to kind of testify on his behalf and clear up what happened. And she said, basically, I'm going to deal with my stuff, and then I will help you deal with your stuff.
She's there for David, and I don't think she wants to help Burke. I don't think she really cares to.
No.
I got that impression that, when she said to Maggie, I don't want him to know that I was here, so she clearly just doesn't want to deal with that. She just wants to go and get David and presumably go back home or whatever, so... it's not going to be how it comes to pass, but yeah, she clearly is not interested in helping Burke.
Yes.
So that plot line's going to drag on a little bit longer, I'm guessing, unless he can wrestle it out of her.
Yeah, well, he's a very persuasive man, I think, so.
We'll see.
then we see David, and he's super excited to see his mom, and then he remembers his dream, and he's super scared, and then... he's like brushing his hair. He was so excited.
Put on a new shirt, and...
Yeah, even like Victoria went down and met Laura and said that he was up getting dressed, and they thought that was so cute, and they were excited, and then Roger kind of warns Laura that Liz will want to keep David, and that might be a bit of an issue, so that was interesting that he would even... say that to her, but
and he was asking her about Burke and what she's going to do with that, and she's like, "Oh, I just gave him a bad cancer."
Yes,
and she seemed to be a lot more like down to earth and honest with Roger than she was with Burke. With Burke, it was like she was just. She would have that more of a rapport with Roger because they lived together for years, so they were married, and so I think she's a little more friendly with him as far as like just having natural conversation. Whereas with Burke, it's awkward.
Yeah.
So it was kind of cool to see Roger talking to someone who was his wife. Like
it is. It's so weird. You got to kind of remember that they were married and they have this child together.
He didn't seem like he was on guard. He didn't seem like he was defending himself. He was just straight up.
Yeah.
Here's what it is. This is how Elizabeth's going to be. This is what
Burke's going to be. I thought it'd be way more. He would just be more on edge and upset with her and whatever. But no, he's pretty chill.
Yeah, I was surprised.
So Vicky finally convinces David to come downstairs to see his mother. And he sees her and sees flames around her in his mind. And then he runs upstairs and everyone's just like kind of upset with upset with him. But I guess Vicky, I think, understands more than anyone that how he's been acting because he's been telling her things. So she goes up to chat with him and he says, "That's not my mother." So what does that mean? She's like a cyborg, or
that's my theory. She's so
an alien.
Robotic and weird.
That's true. She's so she's like really fine. All of us just like, oh, this is so wonderful. And then she's just like, so then she's right back to being whatever. So,
yeah.
So either that or aliens have taken over her body, or there are just many options of what that could mean.
I'm going with robot.
All right, it's a good choice.
Okay.
So all the adults then decide that she should stay longer, and so that David has a chance to get to know her before they make any final decisions on what's going to happen with him.
Yep, and they offer her to stay at Matthew's old cottage.
As long as she thinks that's satisfactory, because it's, a terrible mess, and it's
Right.
Elizabeth was trying to make it very clear that she had to go and see it first and make sure that she was okay with it and let her know and that they could clean it up, but it was fine. Whatever.
It was fine. It already had been cleaned up. So it would just be dusty, if anything. So, whatever.
No. So then Carolyn takes her to go and see the cottage, and Elizabeth goes up to see David, and he's very upset, and he's crying, and he's saying he doesn't know why he has such a bad feeling about his mother, and he's just very afraid and he doesn't know why. And so she hugs him. And then we cut away for a little while to Carolyn and Laura at the cottage, and she's just like, "Oh, I think I'll just stay now."
Which Carolyn's like, "What? What about all your stuff? What are you gonna do?" And she said, "Well, I can just have, they can send, or they're gonna send for my stuff." She was gonna send for it in the morning, but then Carolyn offered to. Was she gonna go pick it up herself?
She was gonna go pick it up. She had to go into town, so she's like, "Oh, you can just ask for it. It's already packed." And she's like, "Why is it already packed?"
Because robots don't need to unpack their stuff, right. Obviously.
She was just like, "Oh, well, I just haven't unpacked. I didn't expect to be staying long, so I didn't unpack." Likely story.
So she doesn't have a toothbrush and everything.
And then David's all of a sudden fine again. He's just like, "Okay, Aunt Elizabeth, everything is fine. I'm going to go to bed."
Crybaby. I hate crybabies.
So he's just up and down everywhere. And then he hears his mother calling him in the night saying, "I love you. I want you.
I want you. I want you, David.
Yeah, I know you can hear me." So there you have it.
So is that really her? Or was it a dream? Or
he keeps going to the window and being like, I can hear you, Mother, or
stop
I know you can
me.
see
Stop
me, or whatever.
Me.
So it's very strange, that this isn't his mother, and his mother's out there somehow still watching him and calling to him. So that'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. I have no theories on it, except for that she's a robot, and there's a real one out there somewhere.
So she's been replaced, body snatched of some sort.
That's all I got. What do you got?
Right. Do you have any predictions?
I guess that's not
What's going to happen?
I think like I said last week, Brooke's going to have some conversations with her, so I think that'll be coming up this week.
Yeah.
Although if she's staying at Matthew's, he won't have much opportunity to really get to her. Mm-hmm. David will finally have a chance to have some time with her, and
yeah, they'll spend some time.
I think he'll realize more and more that she's not quite who he thinks she is. Maybe.
You think so?
Yeah.
Or do you think she'll trick him?
Meet more.
If she. Yes. I'll be like, what does that mean, Mom? Nothing. Error.
Maybe he can pull a Captain Kirk and talk her into destroying herself.
Yes. That's your prediction?
That is, yeah.
Okay, I like it.
All right. Is that all?
I think so.
Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year.
Actually, I'll probably see this way after New Year, but Happy New Year all the same.
Still a new year.
That's true.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.